Hey everybody, in this video I'm gonna show you 7 ways to play fast on the guitar, get a lot of notes, shred. Even though I've been making a living for a decade as a guitar player on the internet, I've never considered myself a shredder. Until today. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see whether or not I can do the last one. Me and my friend Nick Daniels, we would spend countless hours on LimeWire downloading these early internet guitar videos to try to figure out how these guitar players did it. Pummeling you with notes, getting a bajillion notes seemingly out of nowhere. There must be a trick to these things. And then there was one video in particular, I'm gonna give you the keys to the Lamborghini, and then just blasts off into 190 BPM. That was kind of the peak of shred. We would joke that like, someday, I'm gonna be able to play like that and get the keys to the Lamborghini. Here's what we learned. Here's 7 ways I found that made me feel like I was really shredding on the guitar. The first one we found was tremolo picking. And we learned that from the War Ensemble video from Slayer, because right in the beginning they have these up-close shots in their hands. They seem to be moving half as fast as what we were hearing. Looking at the video, they weren't just doing downstrokes like we had been doing. They were hitting the string again on the upstroke, so you can get twice as many notes with the same amount of effort. Maybe even a little bit less effort because you don't need to move out of the way. And it's just one note, it's on one string, so you can move that up to get pretty fast. And since it's all on one string, your right hand can just go to town and then your other hand can guide what notes there are. That was the first time I really felt like I was shredding. Not very controlled, but I could get you a lot of notes and that felt really good. Much later on, I did a cover of that song on ukulele. It just seemed like the responsible thing to do. But while we were learning that riff, we were having a lot of trouble keeping our right hand steady. From just hammering it out, we accidentally stumbled upon number 2, which is hammer-ons and pull-offs. This is another way that really felt like shredding. During this riff, our right hand would get tired and not be able to play anymore or miss the strings, but we found that this part we could do without our right hand. So to save our energy, we would go. That was our best take at getting all the notes, but with less effort. In that, we learned what hammer-ons and pull-offs were. And a hammer-on is if a string is already vibrating, you can then just hammer on your next note and it'll continue to vibrate, like what we were doing here. And then if you flick off with your finger, you can get the next note down, which is what we were doing on accident here, just trying to play it really fast. That was another epiphany moment where we were like, oh, when we're seeing these guitar players get these other notes, but their picking hand isn't moving, that's how. And then from that riff, we just learned how to do this. This felt like shredding. Look, this hand isn't doing anything. Oh, that's where that comes from. It's hammer-ons and pull-offs. The next thing we found was delay. We saw this video of Buckethead playing Big Sur Moon, and this time, yeah, I'm hearing twice the amount of notes, but he's really not playing them. Like, hold on a second, he's really not playing those notes. That's when I learned about dotted eighth delay, where you play the notes in a sequence where the delay then fills in the gaps in the upbeat of the next note. And this one is powerful. I wrote the song Rain as soon as I figured this out on my friend Nick's amp. Hey Nick. And it felt majestic. Wow, I sound like I am playing twice as fast. This was the first time I wasn't limited to one string and notes were just flying out. And when I would play Rain live, I would intentionally try to strum at the end for that last delay, but just strum above the strings, just so people don't get wind that maybe I'm not playing all of them. Once we saw some Buckethead videos, we saw on LimeWire that he had a lesson, and that brought me into tapping. Now, the first tapping that I saw blew my mind. Buckethead doing this like finger dubbing, I think he called it, like just crazy amount of tapping, and it just sounded like a computer obliterating itself.
I'm Rob Scallon, and today I'm gonna grind up and over this whole pole on my rollerblades to prove how much I love sports. This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Surfshark VPN is useful for a lot of things. For one, if you're into sports, like me, you can use it to watch sports from all over the globe. I'm a big fan of the Chicago Cubs, but I'm not a big fan of MLB's blackouts. So I used Surfshark VPN to watch my favorite team, and oh boy, they are having a phenomenal season this year.
How's it feel?
Athletic, to put it lightly.
Yeah.
I can watch sports from all over the world and not miss out. Also, using Surfshark VPN offers online security and privacy, protection from price discrimination, Surfshark antivirus, 24/7 customer support, and unlimited devices. And most generally, it makes it so big companies can't track everything that you do. You don't want them to know your next move, sports. You can use my code Scallon to get an exclusive deal of 4 extra months. There's no risk in trying Surfshark, and they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. There's a link right at the top of the description. I got it. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ah! Oh! Thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to shredding.
The basic idea was just like Hammer-ons, but without the string already vibrating, you can just tap into the fretboard. And this led to so many other possibilities. Now you can get notes with both hands. I could do a whole video. You could do an entire course. You could do an entire 4-year university study on guitar tapping. Like the most standard that we found where we were able to go really fast, really quickly was Eruption by Eddie Van Halen. The way I like to do it is I put my thumb near this finger to get just single hand tapping notes and just press in to get that note. Tap, pull off, hammer on. Tap, pull off, hammer on. A mind-blowing amount of notes. We were able to get there pretty quickly. If you do it all on the same fret, okay, it sounds like a mosquito. We would do that a lot. It's terribly annoying, isn't it? And then I started to use tapping in a different way to get more notes, to have both hands do different things. And that's where my song For That Second came from. And it's just another way to use tapping to get more notes. Tapping felt like another trick that was unlocked. That's something I do all the time. Tap, tap, pull off, pull off. Ah. Yeah. So now we're in a LimeWire video rabbit hole of Buckethead. We see him next to Les Claypool. Seeing this bass solo blew my mind and eventually brought me to what I'm just gonna call finger flings. From trying to play slap bass, we found ways for our guitars to get similar sounds. Instead of popping, I just smack my finger into it. And in the videos that we were watching and the terrible quality, it was hard to tell what they were doing. So to me, it kind of looked like smacking my fingers into the strings with my thumb and my ring finger. That led me to kind of a slap sound. But then once I brought in my middle finger, then it just really felt like shredding. I called it sprinting because it kind of sounded like cartoon characters sprinting. Really frantic, crazy chords. So at this point, we felt like we found a good amount of tricks to feel like we're shredding, but that pure shred ability was still not quite there, which leads us to number 6, which is one that we did not get in middle school. So in a lot of these videos, particularly Yngwie Malmsteen arpeggios from hell, the notes would fly out, but their right hand was just gliding across the strings. So instead of picking every individual note, you would just sweep through them. What? This one, I can't really do. Gonna be real honest. This is a tough one. Sweep picking takes a ton of time. It's a simple technique, but really takes a long time to perfect, and especially to be able to play clean. This is where I've always, throughout my guitar playing career, felt, yeah, I'm a guitar player, I'm pretty good, but I'm not a real shredder. But I think that ends today. Not with this technique, but this brings us to number 7, and this brings me back to that Michael Angelo Batio video.
The art of playing lightning fast.
Getting the keys to the Lamborghini. Just flying through strings, every note is different, every note is picked, no tricks, just pure shred. And so I thought, hey, I've been playing for over 20 years, I think I can do it. So about a year ago, I got to work starting to practice this. Before, when I would try to do this pure shred, I would just end up getting stuck between the strings. Sometimes it would work. You're tremolo picking the whole time, but you're switching strings. And then I watched this video from Troy Grady on YouTube, and I learned about pick slanting. I can't believe I had been a guitar player for this long without thinking about pick slanting. This was a breakthrough for me. If you slant the pick in the right way, you don't get caught on the strings. That stroke brings you to the next string. Check out his video about it, it's amazing. And I learned this lick from his video. If I had the pick slanted in the right way and had an even amount of notes per string, I could just glide through the strings and tremolo pick. And then once I started practicing with this, it felt like a decade's worth of progress in a week. So I first started really, really slow and just memorizing the phrase. Then I got to about 120 BPM where I felt comfortable. Even that feels like shredding at this point. It being that easy was something really different. So I just started hammering it out. And then around 160 BPM, I just hit a wall. And I couldn't get much further than that, and I didn't know why. And now, once again, getting up to 190 BPM, like in the Keys to the Lamborghini video, felt impossible. But I kept going. The next breakthrough I had was at the Timberline Lodge, the Overlook Hotel. Really, I was staying there to do a photo shoot for my signature model guitars with Schecter, and I was still practicing. But it's such an old building, and I didn't want the people in the next room to hear me practicing and get annoyed, so I started playing really soft. And then I started to go faster. I realized once again, like as so many of these things with shredding or going fast on any instrument, it's about efficiency. Even just always having my fingers just above the strings. And with that less effort, I was able to go faster. I was slashing through notes at the Overlook and I was gonna get to 190. This leads us to the last 1st of October, where I was comfortably getting to 180 BPM. And then I used it in the song Riff Lord.
That's just another song I'm working on. It's probably fair game though.
It sounded
could you
sick,
just start
dude.
it from the top?
But it still wasn't 190 BPM like the original video. Oh my God. Right after he says Keys to the Lamborghini, he goes into 190 BPM. So that's what I'm calling it. If I can get to 190 BPM, then I can shred. Then I'm a shredder. So I've been practicing a lot since then. I haven't played it to a metronome yet, but I have 190 BPM queued up, ready to go. If I can play at this speed right now, I'm officially a shredder. Here we go. Rob! Are you Michael Angelo Batio?
Yep.
Did you just break into my house? No way! Wait!